I think we're too dependent on retrospective intelligence, as in any form of learning and understanding through the actions of others that have come before you and your own actions that's come before you, and a scientific breakdown and confirmation of certain understandings. In a very general sense, it's all retrospective, right? Because it's not a form of intelligence from something that's like in the present moment that your body already knows. Let's say the information is coming from your body. Let's give an example. Your body knows when certain foods have gone off. Your body has a form of intelligence where it can detect the differences in taste, in smell, in the senses. You can see that food has gone moldy or it's showing signs of, you know, becoming stale and gross and like decomposing. Now, our body has this intelligence, and we don't need any scientists or any like labeling to retrospectively teach us what we inherently know. So that is a form of intelligence that's pre the retrospective like confirmations, right? Because we already know these things. Now, when it comes to using that in our daily lives, if we rely instead of our body's intelligence, our senses being able to tell when something is going to be good for us or bad for us to consume, if we don't use those senses and we instead rely on the, use by dates religiously on everything that we consume, there are various shades of gray, of course, right? But if you're the type to only look at the label and go strictly by that, then you're most likely over sanitizing your system, because it's probably good once in a while to smell something, detect that it is fresh generally, but it's like on the turn. Do you know? Like an on the turn can be quite a wide spectrum or a very thin spectrum. Is it fresh or is it like off? I mean, there is a small transition, right? So if you catch any foods in that transition, you get to tell yourself, it's not quite fresh, but it's safe, I think. And that kind of dialogue where your body goes, yeah, I think it's safe enough. I think if we consume more foods into our diet on a regular basis, that's just like, it's not confidently fully fresh and like super healthy for you. But if it's actually on the turn, I think it's good to ingest some of those foods, because I'm sure retrospectively science will back it up and say, yeah, it's for your immune system, it's for good like health altogether, to just not over sanitize everything, to have a little bit of dirt every, not literally, but kind of once in a while, throw your system a bit of a like on the turn foods, and throw it some, micro bits of like bacteria from just not like over sanitizing and washing our hands 24/7. So just like with everything, it's a spectrum. Where do you personally sit along that spectrum? Is it extreme left? Is it extreme right? Whatever it is. But make a choice for yourself. I would much rather develop much stronger immunity and become stronger in general and more resilient, because I'm constantly introducing my body to something that's just like, it's slightly questionable, and I'll soon learn if it's too questionable, if it's too on the turn, because then I'll feel my gut starting to bubble, or my, like different physiological effects, and that's the body's intelligence saying, yep, yeah, you tried it a bit too much that time. Like you tried your luck, and I wasn't able to contain the acceleration of all the bacteria multiplying within your system. Like your body, won't have a language to say that, but that's kind of like in the story of it. So yeah, I just wanted to I want to quickly loop it back to the forms of intelligence. I would advocate in this period of my life where I'm focusing more on the body in order to connect with myself and connect with other people, connect with the moment, disconnect outside of mind and ego or self, step out of myself and out of my mind and into my body as a way, as a portal to experience the present moment in its more healthy way, more authentic, genuine, in the moment, presence, everything is kind of thing. So I'd much rather live my life more like that, but the necessity of day-to-day life is there. So I need to use my time wisely. And when I'm making decisions for myself, I prefer to use the intelligence of other aspects of self and not just overly rely on intelligence that's been, taught academically, scientifically, retrospectively. I would rather rely on my own forms of intelligence, and my body has its own forms. I've just labeled, given one example, and I believe other aspects like high has their own in forms of intelligence. And if we don't allow that, if we just always prioritize our own, practiced and perfected forms of intelligence, which is retrospective, I think we're going to be boxing ourselves in quite a lot. I think we already have been boxing ourselves in to a lot of outside, new, novel, creative, connection to more truths that are prior to retrospective forms of understanding and therefore intelligence. So I would opt to not box myself in all the time, and yeah, just listen more.